Hey there everybody, my name is Keno and welcome back to your Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series here on the channel. Now, in that last episode, toward the end of it, we started to taper off a bit. We had a really hot start to the season once we got our lines in order and once everyone got going, especially Caden Primo. If you haven't watched those last videos, go check them out. It's insane how good Caden Primo was doing for us. And then we had some star performances, as you can see here. Lane Hutson with 77 points in 55 games. Now, I'll quickly admit, in the offseason, we noticed that he needed a contract extension. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't want to extend at the time, but also he was asking for 10 million. Now, he just played one season in the NHL, and I'm sorry, but you can't really judge me for thinking I didn't want to give him 10, 11, maybe 12 million dollars to play with the team if he was possibly going to taper off and drop off a bit. Now, obviously he didn't. He just went into sicko mode. He went crazy. He went berserk. He is 4 points away from tying last season's total before the trade deadline has even arrived. So Lane Hutson definitely needed a contract in the offseason. And now he's not asking for a little bit. He's asking for about $15.5 million on a short-term deal. If we try to shrink it, it's still around $15 million. If we try to extend it, it just goes crazy, almost up to $20 million a season. I've never seen a contract reach $20 million a season, and if you don't notice, our extension dollars remaining is only $21.75 million left. So there's definitely going to be some cap gymnastics that we're going to have to perform, some big decisions we're going to have to make. Obviously, Alex Newhook also needs a contract. He's a medium elite, but his potential doesn't really matter now that he's 26. He's not asking for too much, but he's only asking for a short-term deal. That's what concerns me. And with how good our forwards are doing and how much prospect depth we have in the forward core, Alex Newhook might find himself on the outs by the end of this season. I don't want to lose him. He's done great. He's played 3 full seasons with us, averaging around 60 to 67 points a season. Even this season, with 23 points in 35 games, he's probably going to reach maybe 50, 60, depending on how he ends off the season. Or he at least would reach a 50, 60 point pace. But we have to make some decisions here, and immediately off the bat, I'm looking at Jayden Struble out the door. Arbor Xhekaj is a bit of a different story. Let me quickly explain. Jayden Struble and Arbor Xhekaj are constantly getting upset because their roles are top 4 defensemen, but they're not really playing those minutes, okay? I could definitely give them more penalty kill time and double up their penalty kill time. We could see how that goes. But for Struble, with 8 points in 55 games and a plus-minus of 6, he's doing decently. I mean, like what you'd expect from a third-pairing defenseman. But I'm nervous that when he finally loses his overall, because he still lists as an 84, but he's getting upset. As you can see, he's on the verge of getting upset. I usually find that once that bar reaches halfway, that's when their overall drops. I don't know if he'll be able to still be an effective, utilizable defenseman making like $3-4 million a year if his overall drops, okay? With Arbor Xhekaj, it's a bit of a different story. We don't expect him to do anything but throw bodies into the ice or through the boards or through the glass and be a stable defensive defenseman, to be only in the back end, okay? His individual attributes, he's already dropped to an 81. His offensive awareness, again, we don't need him to put pucks in the net. He's not very fast, he never was, but he still has decent puck skills. His physical category is insanely bonkers, and his defensive category, although his defensive awareness is lacking, that shot blocking and stick checking being 94 and 97 respectively, you can't really mess with that. You can't really mess with that, and he's already dropped a little bit. So for him, it's a little bit of a different story on why I might want to keep him. He's still asking for nearly $5 million a year. That's a little unfortunate. Jayden Struble, he's asking for 6. So there's no way that both of these defensemen are coming back next year, especially with the cap gymnastics we're going to have to run. I don't also want to lose Arbor Xhekaj, but there is a possibility that that is what happens. Now, there's also players like Hayden Gooley where he's making $6.5 million, and is he really worth that? I'd more peg him toward a 20 to, or not, sorry, but more toward a $4.75 to $5.75 million defenseman. Is he worth the extra $750,000? You know what? I think so. A plus 23, 28 points in 50 games. He's having a bounce back season this season. If you'd asked me last season, yeah, he'd definitely be out the door. This season's a bit of a different story. We know that Waugh and Dak are both worth $5.75 million. They're actually worth a little more. So they're very justifiable. But I'm going way too much into this. I'm rambling a bit. My main point was that there are some players that I think we are able to move off from. And I think there's some people that we can target in order to strengthen this team. Because with the idea that cap gymnastics are on the way, it brings that idea that we are also on the verge of our window changing or closing. Okay, we still have a great team. There's no doubt. We have Suzuki, we have Caulfield, we have the newest Elias Pettersson. Lane Hudson needs a contract and he's going to get one. Slavkovsky is, I think, signed for this year and 2 more after. Yeah, Reinbacher, he's already signed to an extension for another 4 years after this one. It's working out perfectly. Okay, it's working out perfectly in my opinion, but there's going to be some changes that we're going to have to make, especially with Hensler and Rabbit coming up. So let me stop rambling. Let me stop ranting. I'm going a little crazy here. We're going to make some trades in this video to strengthen this team for a deep playoff run this season in hopes of possibly clinching Lord Stanley's Cup before our window has to change. Because can we bring back all of these superstar forwards and defensemen for next season? I don't know. We might have to make some sacrifices. But as for right now, there's some trades we can make to strengthen this team. It might not make sense, but there's some trades that we can make to strengthen this team that I want to jump at. So let me get those set up for you. Okay, and the first trade is as follows. We'd be sending out, I believe, former first round pick Jakub Suglobov, 27th overall in this most recent draft, plus Nikolai Grachev, who is, you know what, he's 21, 62 overall. I don't see him panning out. Suglobov's a bit of a different story. He could pan out, but still, Suglobov, Grachev, Trent Frederick, and a 3rd round pick in next year's NHL entry draft to the Calgary Flames for Olivier Rodrigue, a 2nd round pick in this draft, and a 6th round pick in this draft. Now, my reasoning for this is that Olivier Rodrigue is one of 4 NHL caliber goaltenders that the Calgary Flames currently have. They have Dustin Wolf, who's been starting the majority of the games in kind of a 1A, 1B tandem with Olivier Rodrigue. They also have Jakob Markstrom down with the Wranglers and Dan Vladash down with the Wranglers. And as you look, Vladash is a backup goalie. Rodrigue is a starting goalie by role. Markstrom's a backup goalie, and Wolf is a starting goalie. So they don't need all 4 of them. I could send one back, but I don't really want to give anyone up. I don't even want to give up Marc-Andre Fleury, even though he's not really worth staying on the team. But I think this is a good trade here. I was also looking at Karel Vejmelka. He's playing for the Detroit Red Wings right now. He's got this year plus 3 more after it, signed at $6.5 million, but he's doing very good as the starter of the Red Wings. But if you think about it, it doesn't make logical sense. We have goaltending prospects coming up that are just going to dwarf anything that we could acquire via trade right now. And Detroit is our rival in this division. Okay, they're fighting with us for top of the division, and Vejmelka is their starting goaltender. They have Sebastian Cossa, who's listed as a starting goaltender, and they have who's the other one? Oh, Trey Augustine, who's listed as a backup goaltender. So it's not like they'd be short for goaltender if I took Karel Vejmelka from them. But Costa's not doing too great for them, and if they're looking to push us out of the top division lead, they want their starter. It didn't make sense at the end of the things logically to make a trade with the Red Wings. Instead, we have this trade here, so it's Suglobov, Grachev, Frederick, and a 3rd for Rodrigue, a 2nd, and a 6th. You know what? I'm going to see if I can drop this down. I don't really want to give up a 3rd even in next year's draft. I'd rather give up like a 5th in next year's draft. And that would work out too, because it's kind of like, yes, we're losing out on Suglobov, but we could hit on the 2nd round pick. Hell, we could even hit on the 6th round pick and recoup a bit of the assets that we're giving up here. I think this is a fair trade. Let's see. Will it go through? It does. Okay, so Olivier Rodrigue is now a member of the Montreal Canadiens, and you know what? It had to happen because Hill has not done well, and Primo's been struggling a little bit lately. But right now, we are going to make some line changes, and I'll be right back. All right. Olivier Rodrigue is now going to be the backup goalie for us, with Aiden Hill probably being relegated to the depth role. And we have another trade on the horizon. Oliver Kapanen, I believe it's Josiah Burkholz, George Burkholz or Jorge Burkholz, Nico Vatanen, a 5th rounder pick 2 years from now, and a 6th round pick in this draft for Justin Falk. Now, I think we might be able to get a little bit more for this trade, but I felt that we needed to upgrade our defense a bit, especially with the idea of possibly moving on from Jaden Struble. We need someone to replace him. Now, I know the Falk is listed as a top 4 defenseman as well, but his individual attributes are very well rounded. He's an offensive defenseman, so it's a little nerve-wracking, okay? Because I usually find that offensive defensemen can maybe struggle a bit. It's very odd. But I think that he would be perfect for that third pair with Arbor Xhekaj, okay? He's got great individual attributes. If we look at his defensive metrics, he's got 19 points in 55 games this season. He had 38 and 68 last season, but a minus 31. So he can put up the points. Even in the first season, 52 points in 82 games. So he's a few years removed from that, but he still looks pretty decent. I'm just a little nervous. Again, the offensive defenseman archetype kind of leads to them giving the puck away a lot. So that's why he's playing 25 minutes a night right now. He's definitely not going to get that. He's probably going to get more sheltered minutes, but maybe some power play time, maybe some extended minutes. We'll see. But this is the trade I want to make. We're going to be sending Oliver Kapanen, George Burkholz, Nico Vatanen, a 5th round pick 2 years from now, and 6th round pick in this year's NHL entry draft for Justin Falk. Again, I want to see, can I just make it a 4th as well? No, it's not going to work with the 4th. So let's see. Will this go through? It doesn't. Oh, I thought it would. Okay. Okay, so maybe I cheesed them a little too much. I mean, Burkholz and Vatanen don't seem like they're going to be very key players in the NHL, and I'm not even too sure about Kapanen. That's why I'm deciding to move on from him. I haven't really given him some ice time, and he doesn't really have the individual attributes I'm looking for in a prospect. So we're now making a 2nd round pick 2 years from now and a 4th round pick in next year's draft for Falk, a 6th in this year's draft and a 6th in next year's draft. I just want to throw those in just to safety net it. You never know when you can hit on a draft pick. But let's see, does this go through? It doesn't. Probably gonna remove the 6ths. Yeah, I'm going to remove both the 6th. I think this is going to be more fair value now, and it is. Okay, so we're going to be acquiring Justin Falk for a handful of prospects and picks that just won't be very valuable to us. And it says they're going to waive Aiden Hill. I don't think they're going to. They're probably going to send somebody else down. But we'll see. Let me get the lines set up for you. Okay, and those lines already look a lot better with Arbor Xhekaj and Justin Falk on that 3rd pair. Hudson Barron and Gudeli Reinbacher staying in their original positions in the top 4. And then it's just sent down Jack Finley, so I put in Florian Xhekaj here on that 4th line. And we are not done yet. Okay, and the final trade of this video will find Jaden Struble and goaltender Aiden Hill on the way to the Colorado Avalanche for a 1st round pick in this year's NHL entry draft and a 3rd round pick in this year's NHL entry draft. Now, I've added Hill in because he's fallen so far down the depth chart, it's scary. Okay, he hasn't done good since recovering from that injury. Caden Primo has usurped him as the starter, and now with the acquisition of Olivier Rodrigue, he has found himself out. We have Jacob Fowler, we have Emil Vinny, and God forbid we have Marc-Andre Fleury if we need to. We have goaltending depth that doesn't require us to continue servicing Aiden Hill. Okay, Jaden Struble, I've already explained, he just found himself out of the lineup. He was already going to be upset. I felt that Justin Falk was a better replacement for him, so that's how it's going to be. And I don't really want to recruit any big players. Okay, we don't need a top 4 defenseman or a superstar forward or anything like that, because we're deep in both positions now. Okay, if I grabbed another defenseman, I was looking at Sam Girard. If I grab Sam Girard, now Arbor Xhekaj is out of the lineup. He's going to be even more mad. He's never going to want to resign with us. So this is the trade. I feel it was good. We'll get a 1st and a 3rd, and you know what, judging by how good Colorado's doing, I don't think that's going to be a very high 1st round pick. So I think this is fair. Let's see, does it go through? It doesn't. Maybe I got to take the 3rd out, or maybe I can add something like a 4th round pick in next year's. No, I don't have one. I've moved it already. 4th round pick 2 years from now for plus Struble and Hill for a 1st and a 3rd in this year's draft, and that does go through. So I hate to see Jaden Struble leaving. I wish we could have utilized him a lot better, but there was nowhere to put him. Maybe on that top pair with Hudson, but Barron was doing good there. And you know what? I think Barron's still going to develop even more. So I'm going to make some line changes here, and I'll be right back. Okay, and your new Montreal Canadiens lines are set. Again, we didn't really touch anyone on the forward core aside from Florian Xhekaj going into that 4th line. And defensively, it's all new on that 3rd pair. We have Hudson, Barron, and Gudeli and Reinbacher retaining their top 4 status still, and Arbor Xhekaj with Justin Falk, as I said earlier. So we are pretty good. And then in net, Primo and Rodrigue, I think we're decent. I think we got a decent 1-2 punch here. We're ready to keep going here. We're about 5-6 games away from the trade deadline. So it's coming up, but I think we're good to go and good to get started here. We're going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are 8-2-0 in their last 10, and they're fighting back for a spot, so they're going to be a rival for us. We have to get a win here. First period, and it's a high-scoring first period. A shorthanded goal by Yuri Slavkovsky starts the scoring for this game, followed by Tim Almgren on that fourth line. But then just 20 seconds later, Jack Roslovic for the Lightning scores, and then Nikita Kucherov a few minutes later ties it up 2 apiece. Shots are 13-9 for the Lightning, and we are currently tied 2-2. Second period. All right, a goal by Kalle Jarnkrok on the power play puts the Lightning up 3-2. They're outshooting us a little heavily now, 24-17, but we got to fight back here and get a win in this third period. Let's go. Quick sim it. And we tie it up, at least. A goal by Sean Farrell on Andrei Vasilevsky about the halfway mark of the third period. Shots are now 31 apiece, and the score is 3-all. We are headed to overtime here. Let's see. Quick sim overtime. And we prevail. A goal in overtime by Kirby Dach puts us up over the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3. What a good way to start this video. What a good way to start the simming here. Lane Hutson with another point in that game. We're doing good. I think we're good. I don't want to make a waiver claim for, I don't even know who that is, Samuel Johansson. But we're going up against the Seattle Kraken here. We're going to quick sim this game. Dante Fabro for Beck in 2/3. I was considering moving on from Owen Beck because he does seem to be a little stunted, maybe not going to grow. But we're going to keep him. And honestly, I don't need Dante Fabro. It doesn't work out for me. Against the Seattle Kraken, quick simming this game. And it's another win, a 5-3 win. So Primo's still struggling a bit. Maybe we got to give some ice time to the new Olivier Rodrigue, but we'll see. Against the Detroit Red Wings here, you know what? We're going to slow sim this one because they are fighting us tooth and nail for that divisional lead. I think they might already have it. Let's see. First period. And we take a 1-0 lead from a goal by Jan Mysak. Okay. Very good to see. Very good to see. They are starting Sebastian Kalsa currently, and they're shooting us 12-9. But we are currently leading this one 1-0 after 1. Second period. All right, they fight back. Jan Mysak makes it 2-0 for the Canadiens early in the second period, but then Nate Danielson and Alex DeBrincat respond for the Red Wings, tying up in the dying minutes there for Alex DeBrincat. Shots are 23-22 for the Red Wings, but the score is currently 2 even. Set. Third period, we're going to quick sim this one. Wow, we blew up. Okay, Alex Newhook gets the scoring started in the third period, followed by Elias Pettersson less than a minute later. Then Alex Newhook again with a power play goal, doubling it up on the score sheet. And then Florian Jacquet with under a minute left notches another one, this time on Karel Vejmelka, as we've run Sebastian Kalsa out of the net. And we take this one home 6-2. Very good game here, especially against a team fighting us as hard as the Red Wings are. Yeah, we now jump 2 points over the Red Wings, and it's good because we beat both the Red Wings and the Lightning in this video. Even though we went to overtime with the Lightning, we've beaten them both, and they're both chasing us for that top divisional spot. We're coming up on the trade deadline here. Yelanin's ready, but I don't think he came out of the lineup. We're now 6-4-0 in our last 10 up against the San Jose Sharks here on the first half of a back-to-back. You can see we're on the eve of the trade deadline pretty much. Let's see, how do we do here? Game 59 of the season, and it's a 4-1 loss. So that's unfortunate, but hopefully we bounce back here. Second half of a back-to-back, and it is now confirmed Lane Hutson has set a new career high in a season with 82 points in 59 games. That is ridiculous. Against the LA Kings here, who are fighting, and look at that, the Detroit Red Wings jumped over us in 2 games with 2 straight wins. They now have 2 more points than us, but we have 2 games in hand. Lots of 2s here, lots of 2s. Against the LA Kings here, game 60 of the season. The Florida Panthers have fired their head coach, but that doesn't matter to us. The Highlanders have fired their head coach, okay. And Kirby Dach is out with a wrist sprain until St. Patrick's Day, so we're going to quick replace him. I think that'll just put... Oh, never mind. Nick Suzuki's back. Let me make some line changes. Okay, and the lines have been jumbled a little bit. I want to see how this does. We have Newhook back with Suzuki and Caulfield on that top line. Slavkovsky with Elias Pettersson and Jesse Alonen on the second line now. Seth Shelley, Sean Farrell, and Joshua Waugh demoted to the third line. Because he's been struggling a little bit, and he usually does good on that third line, and it's the starting line, so we'll see how that does. And then Jan Mysak back to the fourth line there with Tim Almgren and Florian Jacquet. Now, should I have Mizak on the fourth line and Yelanin on the second line? I don't know. We're going to try this out, though, because I do like Yelanin's defensive metrics. Nothing else in the lines have changed. Let's see how we did against the Kings. It was a 5-3 loss, so something in the lines has to change, because I still have my rule of 2. 2 losses in 3 games, and you find yourself sitting on the bench for your next game. And we are going to see now how Olivier Rodrigue does with the Montreal Canadiens. He's already stepped in twice, and he's got 952 in those appearances, stopping 20 of 21 shots. I'm interested to see how he does. Caden Primo, again, is still stumbling, 31 wins in 51 games. He's still our starter. He's still definitely our starter, unless Olivier Rodrigue goes crazy here. But we're about to go into the trade deadline. I don't think we need to make any moves more than we already have, unless somebody stellar is available on like a expiring contract, like a great rental player, maybe a great top 6 player. I don't think we need anybody, though. We'll see what happens. Let's jump in, see who's available. If nobody's available, we just sim through it and we end this season. Enter the trade deadline. Let's see what's available. Who's the big name? So there's Mark Stone, Owen Tippett, John Tavares, Kevin Lankinen, Mackenzie Weegar, Konechny, Schmaltz, Stevenson, Buchnevich. They're all pretty much signed a term except for Lankinen and Stone. So, and you know what, Stone looks decent, but we don't need him. We definitely don't need him. Kirby Dach's gonna be back soon. I don't want to knock anyone else down to the 4th line. Doesn't need to happen. We're gonna keep with what we have. I think we've made our trades that we need to make already, and I think we're ready to go. This is probably the most action we've made at a trade deadline since last season. The big trade is John Tavares to the Arizona Coyotes for Sean Durzi, the former Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, and Jack McBain. Wow, that was a bit of a shocker. And then Mason Lohrei from the Pittsburgh Penguins with a 3rd and a 4th round pick to the Buffalo Sabres for Matt Savoy. Wow. I knew Savoy was available. Again, I didn't think there was anything that we needed to give up to get him. I could have definitely acquired him with Struble and Hill and maybe even another player. But again, where would he go? It just didn't work for us. And then another trade, Ivan Barbashev from the Vegas Golden Knights to the Vancouver Canucks for a 1st round pick and Cole Bieksa. Okay, that's decent. Jamie Benn is on waivers from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's see his player info. Maybe he's a good depth option. Wow, he dropped off a lot. He's not even a good depth option. And then we are going to see how we do game 61 of the season on the trade deadline. How do we do against the Edmonton Oilers, who are a powerful team? We beat them 5-3 in Olivier Rodrigue's first game, and I just realized it was against his team that drafted him. So now we're going up against the Columbus Blue Jackets here. They're really bad this season. This should be an easy win, and it is. And Rodriguez starting to stabilize in that net. We're going into the 3rd game with Rodrigue now against the New Jersey Devils. Game 63 of the season coming right up. And we win that one 6-1. Guys, we're starting to get our footing here. First half of back-to-back against the Washington Capitals. Let's see, how do we do in game 64? It's a 3-2 win. And now in game 65, second half of the back-to-back against the Minnesota Wild. Kirby Dach is fully healed. Okay, let's see how we do, and then I'll make the line changes. And we won that one 4-3 in overtime. Okay, so let me get the lines set up. Okay, so Florian Jacki finds his way out of the lineup with Jesse Yelanin back on that 4th line and Kirby Dach on the 2nd line with Elias Pettersson and Juraj Slavkovsky. I think we're ready. I think this team is ready to absolutely dominate the league, and we've been going on a heater lately. 8-2-0 in our last 10. We now have 42 wins, 18 losses, and 5 losses in overtime. We are 2 points up on the Detroit Red Wings, and we're actually tied with the Avs with games in hand for league lead. We could win our 2nd President's Trophy of this series. But let's see, we're up against the Colorado Avalanche right now. We got to get a win here. We're going to slow sim this one. It's the battle of the heavyweights, and then we got to burn through the rest of these games because I'm already going over in my recording time. But against the Colorado Avalanche, first period, scoreless after 1, but we are heavily outshooting them 19-9. Okay, 2nd period. And there's some scoring done. Gabriel Landeskog opens the scoring in this game for the Colorado Avalanche, but then Nick Suzuki, with just over a minute left in the period, ties it up 1 apiece. Shots are 30-29 for your Montreal Canadiens, so the Avs definitely fought back that period, but it's only 1-1. 3rd period, quick simming this one. And the Avs fight back. A goal by Tyson Jost, followed by an empty netter by Nathan McKinnon. And they win this one 3-1. So that's unfortunate. I didn't like to lose to the Avs there, but it doesn't really matter. We're still on a bit of a roll here. Again, we're going to keep with our rule of 2. So if Olivier Rodrigue drops a game here against the Coyotes or the Tampa Bay Lightning, he will find himself back in the backup role. I don't think he's going to lose here to the Coyotes. They're doing pretty bad. They've been struggling in the last 10. Jeannot's back, and no, we win that one over the Coyotes 5-2 against a Lightning team that is fighting to get second in the division now with the Detroit Red Wings. And the Red Wings are actually tied with us. We have a game in hand, but they are still doing very good. But against the Tampa Bay Lightning here, game 68 of the season is a 3-2 overtime loss. So at least we still pick up the point, but the Red Wings picked up 2, and they are now ahead of us by 1 point. Against the New York Islanders here, first of a home-and-home series. How do we do? We win 5-4 in the shootout, so decent there. Second half of the home-and-home, first half of a back-to-back. Let's see how we do against the Islanders here in New York. Arber Xhekaj is out with a sore hip. Okay, so Nick Beaudin's going to draw into the lineup, and we win that one 5-4 in overtime as well. Second half of the back-to-back against the Tampa Bay Lightning here. How do we do? And Justin Barron's out with an injured foot. Okay, so let me make some line changes. All right, guys, I don't know how it happened or when it happened, but we also lost David Reinbacher. He was already swapped out. So we've been playing Florian Xhekaj on the third pair with Justin Falk. We have a very weak defense right now. Maybe I put Petrie somewhere other than the second line, but it seems like that's the only place that works for the individual attributes. I mean, let's do Harris on the top with Hudson and Beaudin with Falk on that third pair. But I don't know what happened. I don't know how long Reinbacher's out for, but we've lost Justin Barron, Arber Xhekaj, and David Reinbacher to injuries. Best lines for Laval Rocket, because we can. And let's see how we did against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We lost that one 4-2. Okay, let me make the line changes, because I also realized that Olivier Rodrigue did drop that game against the Lightning originally. I kind of felt like he could have stayed in that because he lost it in overtime. But let's see, Olivier Rodrigue with a 908 on the season, a 915 through 13 games with the Habs. So he's doing very well. And then, I mean, there's no other option. Caden Primo, 51 games played, 31 wins, 10 losses, 5 overtime losses. He's been a star for us. Even if he's been a bit rocky lately, he's still been a star. Let's finish off this season here, though. Game 72 of the season against the Buffalo Sabres. Quick simming this. Almgren's out with an injury, so it'll be Xhekaj drawing in. We win that one 3-2 up against the powerful Detroit Red Wings. We've already clinched a playoff spot, so pat yourselves in the back, boys. Let's see. Oh, and also, Lane Hutson is 5 points away from a 100-point season as a defenseman. God, he is insanely good. But against the Detroit Red Wings here, game 73 of the season, we win that one 10-3. Holy crap, Lane Hutson had a 4-point game. He's on the verge of a 100-point season going into this game against the Chicago Blackhawks here. Let's see, how do we do? We are now 3 points ahead of the Red Wings, and we are 2 points back of the New York Rangers for league lead in points. But against the Chicago Blackhawks, game 74 of the season, Justin Barron's fully back. I'll make the line changes right after we see how we did. We lost it 4-3 in overtime, but Lane Hutson has scored his 100th NHL point in a season. Holy crap. What a second season for the rookie defenseman. Let me get the lines set. Okay, so Barron's back. He's going to be on that top line with Hudson. Gouli is on the second pair with Harris, and Beaudin and Falk are still on that third pair. And then Harris has done pretty good. 1 point in 3 games and a +1. Let's see how he does with Gouli now as the starting line. Oh, guys, I want to take a look at the stats, but I want to wait. I want to see how everyone's done, okay? We don't know if we have other point-per-game players. We probably do. I'm assuming Elias Pettersson's not too far behind for the scoring race, but we'll see. We're now at 101 points, 1 point back of the Rangers, tied in games played. We're at the first half of a home-and-home and a home-and-home back-to-back here with the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's see how we do against a powerful Hurricanes team. And we win that one 5-2. Second half of the back-to-back here. And it's a 5-2 loss. So we trade 5-2 wins there. Arber Xhekaj's back. Let me get him in the lineup. All right. After 2 losses in 3 games, Caden Primo is back in the backup role. We're another back-to-back here on game 77 of the season against the Boston Bruins here. We're going to quick sim this one. And it's a 7-5 loss. That's a bad first game for Rodrigue against the Philadelphia Flyers here. Second half of a back-to-back. And it's a 5-4 win. So still a rocky win, but we got it anyways against the Pittsburgh Penguins here. Game 79 of the season. And we win that one 7-5. Okay, so really rocky goaltending from Olivier Rodrigue. going to the final 3 games of the season, against 2 against divisional rivals and then 1 against the Minnesota Wild. Here against the Toronto Maple Leafs, we're gonna quick sim this one because we gotta slow sim the Minnesota Wild game anyways. So against the Toronto Maple Leafs, game 80 of the season. Almgren's fully healed. We'll get him back when we can, and we lose that one 8-6. So Rodriguez let every freaking shot in. That's not a good sign. He was a 915, I believe, when we put him back in net. And yeah, he's probably dropped an 896. Okay, so that's not good. Primo's back in the starting role for these final 2 games of the season. Game 81 against the Florida Panthers here. They've really struggled this season. Let's see how we do. First period. And we're tied 1-1. A goal by Carter Verhaeghe opens the scoring. Then Jesse Alonen ties it up. Second period. And the Panthers go ahead from a goal by Micah Matteo. Third period. Oh, high scoring third period. Tkachuk makes it 3-1. Then Suzuki and Newhook and Farrell answer, making it 4-3. But then the Panthers tie it up with just under 5 minutes to go in the game at 4 apiece. Shots are 37-27 for your Montreal Canadiens. The score is currently tied. Let's see. Overtime? No scoring in overtime. Let's just go through the shootout. Let's see what happens. And we win in the shootout. Lane Hudson, of all people, getting the shootout winner. The only goal of the shootout, if I believe correctly. And I think we've clinched our division. Yeah, we've clinched our division. And we are about... Oh my gosh. I don't know if we can... Yeah, I don't think... I think the Rangers... I don't know why it doesn't show the Rangers have clinched it. There may be a way for us to clinch the President's Trophy here. But we're going into the final game of the season. Both us and the Rangers playing in their final game of the season. Sorry, I'm stumbling, I'm stuttering. Let's go. Slow simming the final game of this video as well. It's been a bit of a long one, but I think you guys will appreciate what we've done. First period. And the Wild take a 2-1 lead. Goals by Gunler and Beckman make it 2-0, but then Dak responds on the power play, getting us within 1. Shots are 12-11 for the Wild. Second period. We tied up. A goal by Justin Barron on that top line with Lane Hudson. Shots are 25 apiece. Score is currently 2-all. And third period. We win this one in regulation. A goal by Seth Shelley and another goal by Cole Caulfield puts us up 4-2. Shots with 38 apiece. But now the question is, did the Rangers lose their game in regulation? Because if they did, we might have won the President's Trophy by tiebreaker. Let's see. No, we did not win the President's Trophy by tiebreaker. The Rangers won their game, their 54th game of the season, and we came second place in the league. And Lane Hudson finishes the season with 110 points in 82 games as our leading scorer. And an insane defenseman. I wonder how he did around the league. We'll take a look at how our players did first, and then we'll take a look at the league to wrap up this marathon episode here. Alex Newhook with 50 points in 62 games. So yeah, he was on pace for around 60-70 points this season. He did very well. Nick Suzuki with 84 points in 77 games. Such a solid center for us. 80 points every season of this series. He has done so good. At least 80 points every season of the series. Cole Caulfield with another 30 goal performance, this time 37. So he's dropped every year since the 62 goal season. He had 69 points this season. Very nice. In 80 games. Not too bad. Yuri Slafkovsky with 37 goals, 32 assists, 69 points in 82 games. Another very nice season. 17 power play points, 13 power play goals. So he was on the verge of 40. But he couldn't quite get there. Elias Pettersson with 103 points, 38 goals in 81 games this season. Wow. What a stellar season. His first season with the Montreal Canadiens, and he puts up, I believe, a career high. And it is. He puts up a career high in points with 103. Very good production. Kirby Dak with 50 points in 77 games. So one of his lowest season since that first one with the Canadiens. But you know what? He wasn't getting ice time that was one of the things I realized. I hadn't put him on the power play for the first 25 games of the season. So if you look at it that way, he was pretty much point per game afterwards. He did great for us with that knowledge in mind. On the third line, Seth Shelley with 55 points in his sophomore season. He definitely bounced back after a rocky first season with the team and in the NHL, but you can't really blame him. It was his first season in the NHL. He got a 20-goal season this time on the third line, almost 60 points too. So can't even scoff at that. Sean Farrell with 73 points in 82 games, playing only third line minutes. That guy was a beast for us. And then Joshua Waugh with 58 points in 82 games. So you know what? Not bad. He was still a little rocky, but he had his first 25 goal season, his highest scoring season to date. Not points wise, but you know what? If he can get those types of assists with that type of goal scoring, absolute dominant second liner. And then Jan Mysak finished with 18 goals, 25 assists, 43 points in 82 games. He's still listed as an 85, so he's not upset playing the fourth line minutes. And Jesse Alana with 26 points in 82 games. Not too bad for fourth line production. Jack Eye with 13 points in 41 games. Again, he played mostly depth of fourth line. Very good. We know Lane Hudson was insane. 110 points in 82 games, a plus 27. Wow. Justin Barron with 32 points in 79 games and a plus 29, so he tied for his best season with the team. Very good bounce back for him. Caden Gooley with 42 points, so what a great season for him. Last season was an outlier. We knew the last season was an outlier. Plus 26 as well. He did great. Jordan Harris with 3 points in 11 games. Not too bad. Jack Eye with 8 points in 76 games and 127 penalty minutes. Not too bad. And then Justin Falk, we got to see how he did with us. 10 points, 27 games, and a plus 7. Everything we needed him to do. And obviously David Reinbacher is still injured. Not sure what happened to him or why he was taken out of the lineup. It is unfortunate. If you guys saw it and I missed it, let me know in the comments. And then goaltendings, you know, Caden Primo with 36 wins in 58 games, 896 save percentage, 319 goals against average, and 2 shutouts. Not bad for a minor starting goaltender role. Not bad at all. And then Olivier Rodrigue, he was good on the season, struggled with us though, an 896 save percentage. He had an assist with us? Did I see that right? Yeah, he got an assist with us. Wow. But yeah, 896 save percentage, 335 goals against average, and no shutouts with 10 wins in 17 games. So he didn't do too bad. I mean, like, we have high scoring on in this simulation. He did decently. Our team did amazing. We came second place in the NHL. Can't scoff at that. We did great. And now let's see how our players fared against the league leaders. Were we in the top discussion? I would assume that Lane Hudson was possibly the league leading scoring defenseman in his second season, but maybe I'm wrong. Jason Robertson takes the lead in the league with 119 points in 82 games, including 57 goals. McDavid right behind him at 118, Braden Point with 115, and Connor Bedard with 44 goals and 111 points at fourth. And then sure enough, Lane Hudson, the fifth leading scorer in the NHL and the top scoring defenseman with 110 points in 82 games. He is definitely up for the Norris Trophy this season. Hopefully your Cedar doesn't get it. He might, because he has just 2 less points and a higher plus minus, but I hope to God that Lane Hudson gets the Norris in his second trophy, or his second season. That would be insane. And then yeah, Elias Pettersson, he's definitely in the top 15 of scoring in his first season with the Habs. We had a great season. I know our rookies aren't going to be in the conversation. Eklund and Ekberg fighting this out, but it's definitely going to Victor Eklund. Matt Savoy had a decent season, 55 points, even though he was traded halfway through it. Yeah, you know, Mike Benning with 49 points for the Avalanche, and then Axel Sandy Pellica with 48 for the Red Wings. You know, there's some big notable names here. Clark Caswell with the Arizona Coyotes. Jan Mysak right here, pretty like in the top in the conversation, but definitely not going to win the Calder over Eklund. Very good season. Let's see who the top goaltender was. Probably going to go to Igor Shesterkin. Let's see though. Yeah, Leonard Kierschmid played not enough games. Karel Vejmelka, actually. It's probably going to Karel Vejmelka. He might lose it out on wins, but the 909 save percentage and 6 shutouts on the season, maybe I should have gone for him. Holy crap, that's a star goaltender. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much. We'll see who we're facing in the next video. It might actually, hold on. No, it's I'd say it is. Shoot. Okay, so we know who we're facing in the second round just by math. We are going to be facing the Toronto, not the second round. We know who we're going to be facing in the first round of the playoffs here, and it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to be back up against them. Hopefully we can get past them this time. They've beaten us last time. I think we actually beat them in the first round last year, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember fully. Everything's foggy. I'm doing so many series that you can't blame me for getting a little confused. But thank you guys so much for joining. This has been a blast. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like down below or commenting. You know, if you guys expected Lane Hudson to do as good as he did, you guys let me know. But this has been a blast. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys as we go through the first round of the playoffs in the next video.